Welcome to the show where stories unfold.
Let's go.
People doing big things, breaking the mold. They're changing the game, making waves every day.
Big move.
Shining bright with the work that is right.
Shine on.
This is Breaking the Silence with Nicky
Nicole in the building.
Unleash your inner voice and make some
Turn
noise.
up. Welcome to the Breaking the Silence podcast with Arthur, Nicky, Nicole. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell your cousin, tell your friend, tell your neighbor to come over here and break the silence with Arthur, Nicky, Nicole. Welcome to another powerful episode. Sit back and relax. Enjoy the conversation. Welcome, everyone, to another powerful episode of Breaking the Silence. I am your host, Arthur, Nicky, Nicole, and this show began with my own voice. Started to come out of the shell. What started as a simple expression of a thought soon became a powerful platform for healing, connection, and truth. Breaking the Silence is all about shining the light on amazing people who are doing great things every single day of their lives. Those that lead with love, lead with purpose, and speak with power. So today, I'm joined by this amazing gentleman, Andre A.J. Carter. I actually met him looking at him on another platform, y'all. And I was like, okay, I got to get him over here. He is known as the Love Mechanic. He's the owner of Just Ask Dre LLC. He's a certified master life coach specializing in relationship management. He's an ordained minister, award-winning author, 3-time Library of Congress award-winning poet. He also made his mark on Who's Who in American literature. And last but not least, y'all, one of his books also made it to the big screen for this movie called Untangled. Right. He's a true voice of inspiration, courage, and empowerment. So, after his countdown, please welcome this amazing gentleman to the platform. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for coming and supporting my journey and being a guest.
Oh, I appreciate everything, and I'm so blessed to be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So now we got to talk about you being called the Love Mechanic. Now, what's the story behind that name, and how did your journey start, coaching in the relationship realm?
Okay, the love mechanic is simple. It's not as bad as everybody, when they first hear it, it's not what they think it is. You go to your mechanic to fix your car, right? You come to me to fix your love and relationship. Love mechanic. See how simple that is? Not dirty, anything else.
I love it. So how did you, come to the pivotal moment in your life and say, you know what? I want to coach people, repair the relationships, and this is what I want to do.
Well, I have actually been coaching people all my life. It was just later on I discovered, hey, I could actually get paid for this.
Okay.
So, but I've been doing it forever. So, but I wasn't, it wasn't a business for me.
Right.
So, but I just love sharing information regardless whether I'm getting paid or whatever. I've been to several schools and everything else. Wasn't looking for pay, just sharing knowledge. I do that all the time. You look at my Facebook page, you'll see that. I don't sit up there and charge you to come on my page and all that. Oh, you gotta, how they have these things where you gotta be a part of the group and you gotta pay certain amount. No, I don't do that. You want to grow? I got you.
But you know, some of the best coaches started coaching before they knew they were coaching.
Right. Exactly.
They was coaching people all their lives, and then one day the light bulb went off and said, "You know what? I can make some money doing this for real."
Hmm.
So, as a certified master life coach and an ordained minister, how do you balance, your spiritual principles with the practical relationship advice?
It's all the same.
Hmm.
If you read my book, The Love Commandments, you'll see it's all the same. All my principles come from the Bible. So there's no difference.
So, what's one of the things that you deal with, as a relationship coach that people come to you to repair? I automatically you would think infidelity would be the main thing that people come to you for. But what's one thing that people repeatedly come to you for advice for?
Infidelity, um, sexual satisfaction. How do I liven up my relationship? How can I bring back that spark? Something is missing. I don't want to go out and cheat. So, you know, we need to change gears somewhere along the line. So those are the things people come to me with. And I mean, much worse, but, I've
Right.
had women come to me telling me how they were going through divorce.
Mm.
And matter of fact, on Good Friday, a woman called me. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. She calling me and telling me how she going through divorce. She couldn't understand how or why, because she's a good woman. Um, she cooks, she cleans, she takes care of the house and all that type of stuff. You know, she didn't understand why he would, cheat on her and everything else. And then I was asking, well, how long y'all been together? How well do y'all know each other? He says, oh, we've been together since, like 2015 or whatever. But, back then, he was married and I was the side chick for 2 years and this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, now, everything you said after that goes out the wash because you just told me you was a good woman, but you just broke up this man's marriage. How can you be a good woman and violate somebody's marriage at the same time?
Exactly.
You know, I mean, this, but this is the standard nowadays. You know, I mean, you look at Facebook or Instagram and you see they basically making prostitution legal. You hear these people
Okay.
talking about, oh, he got to pay me $500. He want to date me and this and that, and I'm like, isn't that what you do with prostitutes?
It's so many
I mean,
so many things that are acceptable now in relationships that some women are okay with being the other woman.
most definitely, I know they are because back in the days when before I found, well, I shouldn't say before I found the Lord because I done backslid since then, and you know, but
Oh,
uh, but back in the days before I became ordained, how about that one?
okay.
Um, I used to date a lot of women. I mean, because I was going through a sexual addiction actually, so that's what my backstory is. That I was going through sexual addiction, and I was dating a lot of women. I mean, at times I was dating 5 women at a time, and they all knew about each other.
Oh my.
Right? Yeah, they were okay with it, and I was okay with the fact of letting them do that because I didn't want to sit up there and lie to them and tell them, oh yeah, you the only one. It's only you, baby, and this and that. Like a lot of guys are doing, and then you walk through the mall with her, and you bump into the other one.
Okay, and now it's just trouble. The first 48.
Mhm.
Man.
So I never wanted to, go through that. So I was always upfront with women. If I'm seeing other women, I would let you know. If you're the only one, I'm good with that too. You know, but you have to understand that I'm a sex addict and whatnot. So if you can't handle 5, 6 times a day, then you need somebody else too.
He's up and need somebody else too. I heard that. So do you think a relationship can last, even after the infidelity? Do you think that's repairable?
Do I think infidelity is repairable? Of course it is. Let me tell you something. God could do anything. All right. He brought Lazarus back to life if he'd laid in his bed for 4 days, dead. Okay. He brought him back to life. So if he could do that, infidelity is simple. Simple.
Mm,
Okay. It's just a matter of, are you willing to put in the work?
that's
Because
true.
see, now we are humans. So therefore, you know, we're the type of people that like to look back on yesterday as opposed to being that horse with the blinders on and seeing what's right in front of you and just being focused on that. You
Right.
see, they put blinders on horses so they can't look back.
That's
You
true.
understand? Now, I'd like to ask anybody, if you're driving down the highway, instead of looking forward, you're just straight looking back, going down the highway. You know you're going to crash, right?
Okay.
I
That's
mean,
true.
so that's how relationships work. If you're always looking back and never forgiving what happened before, you just stay focused on what happened, then you're never going to move forward.
Mm.
So you got to heal. That might take a lot of prayer, that might take therapy, whatever it takes. If you're willing to work on it, it can be repaired.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But you know what? That's a human thing too. To always look back, you're never gonna forget what how that pain felt. And I think that's the main reason why people sometimes can get past infidelity because they're looking back at that pain and they're still feeling it. Sometimes they're still feeling it.
That, looking backwards, hurts so many relationships to the point where if a woman is hurt and she's dating a whole new man who didn't do anything to her yet, what the last man did to her hurt so bad to the point where the next man is paying for it.
Yes, now that's true.
I
That's
mean,
true.
that's why I say you can't always just be looking back because you'll destroy every relationship you get in.
Mm.
Every relationship, you know?
So now let's talk about your book, the Man-ual. As
Mm,
it made it to the big screen, right? That's the one that made it to the big screen, right?
there it is.
So what impact did that have on your mission, and how have men responded to that message?
You know, sometimes I go, well, I'm going to tell you this. I wa- the first time I got a man that actually loved it, I was walking in Rite Aid trying to get my medicine, and a man jumping up and down, going crazy, talking, "Oh, I saw you on TV, this and that, da, 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 da." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" I want to do a beehive out the store because I don't, I'm so humble to the point where I don't even like all of that, all the fame and all that type of stuff. I'm beyond all that, even in the ministry and whatnot. I always tell them, "Hey, I'm just like you, man. Don't try to put me on no pedestal." God said we all sinners. He didn't
Exactly.
say, oh, you're a sinner, but the ministers, they free of sin.
Right.
No, no. Just because you don't know about their sin doesn't mean they have none.
Come
They just
on now.
hide it better. That's all.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. And sin is sin. There's no such thing as, oh, you sin differently than me, so you a bad person. No. It's just different.
Different. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. So now
Mhm.
what's in this manual? Is it tips for men to, and for relationships?
Yes, yes, yes. It's everything all wrapped up in one. I'm talking about satisfying your wife. I'm talking about changing the taste of your semen. I'm talking about what's the best positions to have a woman in if you're come up a little short. You know, that's
Oh
what
my
it
God.
is. I'm talking about all of that. You know,
Wow.
yeah.
No wonder that made it to the big screen. Wow.
I
Okay.
mean, but there are
Okay.
lots of different topics in here that are very inspiring. I'll say that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm talking about so many different things. I just named a few, but I'm talking about you know dating outside the norm. Like back when I was young, all people did was again in a movie.
Yeah.
You know, and me, I like to sit up there and find out what the woman wants. Like maybe she always wanted to try something that's different, but nobody ever sit up there and thought about asking.
Hmm.
You know, maybe she wants to go to a basketball game. Maybe she just want to go to the aquarium. I don't know what she would want, but I'll never know if I don't ask her. And that's why communication is so important.
Yes.
You know, in my book, I give a scenario where a guy, goes out, takes a woman out. He wants to take her to an expensive seafood restaurant. Now, once again, like I said, there was no communication. He didn't ask her. So he takes her to the seafood restaurant. He's thinking he's doing something nice, only to find out she's allergic to seafood.
No
You understand what I'm
communication.
saying? So this is why communication is so important because there's so many intricate details and we are so different. We're unique. Each person is a unique person. You know, they try not to be. Everybody wants to follow the leader. This girl want to get BBLs, and every girl want to get BBLs. This one get breast augmentation. Everybody out here breast augmentation. You
Hmm.
know, they trying to be sloppy carbon copies, but there is something about each one of them that is different.
Yes.
You know,
That's true.
God gave everybody a different gift. He didn't give everybody the same gift. You know,
That's true. But I don't think people understand how important that communication is. You have to communicate. And I feel like communication is, if you don't have that in a relationship, you're done.
right,
It's a done deal if you can't talk to each other. But
right.
do you think that it's possible to have too much communication in your relationship?
What is too much communication? You mean no? You mean we know everything, every
Yeah.
intricate detail about each other?
Hmm.
As you should, because if I don't know everything, that means we can't build trust. And the Bible tells me, tells us that when a man and woman get together, he leaves his mother and father, and they become one. How can you become one if y'all not together? Y'all not conversating. Y'all not trusting each other. This one doing that and the other one doing that. That's not being together.
Hmm. That makes sense. That makes sense. But sometimes I think I don't know. Maybe sometimes when people know too much, do you
Hmm.
think that's more of an advantage for them if they know more about you than you know about them?
You see, and that goes back to what I said. It has to be 100% on both sides. On both sides, not one, not one. And a lot. Unfortunately, it's a lot of women that I end up coaching because the mindset is that they're the prize and this and that. And unfortunately, if you go into the store, no, better yet, I'll give you a better example. If you seen a homeless man and he came up to you and he asked you for $500, and this $500 was the last $500 you had, would you be willing to give this man your $500 knowing that you can't get it back? You understand? It's the
Mhm.
same thing women do with men when they say, they they want to sit up there and get this, they want to get that. You got this man paying for stuff, but not giving him anything. You understand? So basically, he's giving up stuff, but not getting it back. Like you only have one heart. So if I give you my heart, that means that you should give me yours.
Absolutely.
You understand? Don't take my heart and run off with it.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Now, that's a good. If I give you my heart, you should give me your heart. I agree. I like that. I like that concept.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna ask you some out of the box questions to make you think.
Okay.
So if love were a car, okay,
Hmm.
you the love mechanic. What kind of tune up do you think most people will need? And what's the most common engine failure you see in relationships?
Better communication. That's, you know, knowing each other is basically the cure to everything. Because if I know about you, then I know what I can deal with, what I can't deal with, what I'm willing to sit up there and say, okay, that's a red flag to me. But because you're able to do this, this, and that, and you're willing to work on it, then we can deal with that red flag being that you're willing to work on it, you know? So that's the basics of everything. Communication will solve whether or not you guys like to go on what kind of vacations y'all want to go on, what kind of dinner you like to eat, what kind of sex positions you might like. I mean, do you like children? And I this is another one that I tell women a lot of times because come Father's Day, they like to say Happy Father's Day to me, and these men are bums and this and that. Let me tell you something. The women knew right off the back that they can get pregnant. Okay? Straight up. That's what they knew. Did they ask the father before they had sex, do you want to have children?
You know they didn't. I can be the first to put my hand up. I didn't.
You understand what I'm saying? So if you didn't ask that, then you up for a surprise. It's just the same thing as you applying for a job, but you didn't ask them what you getting paid. And then when you get the paycheck, you mad because you didn't ask. And
Wow.
you know
Now
what
you
I
put it that way.
mean?
Yeah, but you know what? Those are the conversations that people don't have anymore.
Right.
Like they don't have and I say that a lot of times. I wish I would have had these conversations with my baby fathers before I went down that road. But you don't think about it. You be in the heat of the moment, truth be told, and you just do what you do, and then boom, here comes the baby, and now you're
Mhm.
alone,
Right.
and it's my fault.
Right.
I didn't ask the right questions, so you know.
I mean, I tell people all the time it's mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Okay? He has to commit to that child. You're going to have the child, period.
Period. Exactly. Unless
So who
unless you
should
give
sit up
them up
there
or
and make
something.
sure? Who's the one who should be making sure of everything?
The
That
mother.
woman.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That mama's baby and daddy's maybe. I like that now. So the next out of the box question: if you could coach one fictional couple now from maybe a movie or a TV show, who would it be, and what advice would you give them?
A fictional couple. You know, that's actually a bad question for me because I don't do fiction at all.
Mm.
I mean, I won't even read a fiction book, honestly. All the books I read are nonfiction because I'm always trying to learn something.
Mm.
So I don't
Now,
do
what about
fiction.
TV? You watch some couple on the TV. In my one of my favorite couples back in the day. Me and my sister talk about this couple all the time. The Huxtables. No TV show
Oh,
couple.
all right. Bill Cosby. Is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, they're a pretty good couple because they knew how to sit up there and manage their family and
Yes.
keep everybody together. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so family wise, they was on point.
It really was. They really was. They handled everything that was thrown their way, and I'm like, what?
Right. I mean, the mother was a lawyer, the father was a doctor. They handled their business. So there's not a whole lot I can say about them.
Okay, so this is my final question before we go to the would you rather. What silence are you breaking in relationships today? And how are your listeners starting to do the same in their own lives?
What silence am I
Breaking.
breaking? Um, I would say that I'm going out of my way to try to make women more accountable. Okay. Like I was coaching a woman the other day and she was just getting mad at me and whatnot because she says, you can't teach me this and that or whatever. Men been raping women and this and that, beating up women. What you gonna do? I said, ma'am, I didn't do any of that to you, first of all. Okay. And all men are not put in a box. But I said, now, if you want to sit up there and throw darts at people, we can do that. Okay. Let's put people in boxes. Women, such as Eve, was the first one who sit up there and had the law handed to her by God Himself and decided to listen to the snake. That was Eve. Okay. That was a woman. The man, what he did is the same thing they doing today. They listening to the woman. So you want to put people in a box. That's the box. You have to always start from the root of the problem. You can't start from when it got up here. No, you got to start from the down low, the
But
root.
everybody's not the same though. Everybody's different individuals, and so you can't really put everybody in the box because everybody's different.
No, you can't put people in a box. That's why I try to explain to her. You can't put everybody in the box because everybody is different.
Everybody's
This
not the
person
same.
here.
All men, as they say, all men are dogs. All men are not dogs.
No, no. It's where you go shopping at when you looking for a man. You look in the garbage. Chances are you're gonna find garbage. Very simple.
Very simple. Very
Yeah.
simple. You better stop
Most.
jacking these women up. They're gonna get you.
I was
They
just
gonna
saying.
Oh man. So I'm gonna play the countdown to introduce the would you rather, and we're gonna do the would you rather questions. All right.
Sure.
It's time for Would You Rather. Answer fast and don't just choose. Tell us why. We want to hear your vibe behind the pick. Let's go. Okay, first question. Live with a broken heart or a guarded one?
For me, a guarded one because I would rather protect my heart being that, like I said, I only got one. I'd rather protect it than have it always broken.
Mm.
Because if I guard it, that means that eventually when I find love, I'm going to find the right love. You understand? Where I don't
Mhm.
have to sit up there and guard my heart so much
Right.
because somebody else has my back.
See, I've
You
been
see?
on both sides. I've been on the broken heart side, and been on the guarded heart side. But being on the guarded heart side is kind of bad because then you never really let nobody in.
I get that. But for me, I would say I don't let everybody in. See, there's a difference. It's not that you don't let anybody in. It's that a lot of people say they're against lists, but I'm not against lists. You know why? Because when I write a list, I know exactly what I want, and if I'll know right away that you're not it.
You're not it. That's it. In a nutshell. And I won't deal with you because that one thing on that list you don't have. There you go.
Right. So
Okay. So the
that
next one.
started.
Change someone's life or change your own forever.
Change someone else's or my own. I feel that for me, I'm helping people all the time. So that's basically my job to change someone's life. And when I change someone's life, I also change mine.
Yep.
Because even when talking to them, I'm learning stuff as I go along.
Mm-hmm.
You see, they're telling me stuff, I'm telling them stuff. There's a conversation. It's not just one sided. It has to be a conversation because people can do the same exact thing, but have different reasons why they did it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like how somebody could be cheating, let's say. That's a simple one. Somebody's cheating. One person cheats because the his woman wouldn't sit up there and have sex with him. Okay? Another person might cheat because his woman wasn't affectionate. Or another one might cheat because the woman didn't listen to him and she was always mouthy. So he's looking to see what else is around him that maybe he could move into that. He
Hmm.
doesn't know yet. That's why he's cheating, testing the waters. You know, everybody got different reasons for cheating. And it's not always that, oh, I'm just a dog. No, people like to be happy. And if you're not making them happy, you know, I tell people all the time, you know how you avoid cheating? Make sure that you are doing whatever it takes to make your mate happy.
That's
What
fact.
when it's like when you sit up there and you're eating a meal, let's say you're sitting down eating dinner, you're about to bust because you had so much.
Mm-hmm.
After you did that, do you go out and eat again?
No.
Exactly.
No. You're full. You
Exactly.
going to bed. You got
Thank
itis at
you.
this point.
Thank you. You understand what I'm saying? When you give that man what he wants to the point where he's full, he's not looking for it somewhere else. He got it in you.
All in you. All in you.
When a man goes out and cheats, it's because he's looking for something that you're not providing. Simple.
Right. Simple. So last one. Love out loud or love in silence.
Different people have different reasons for that answer. So I'm not going to say one is right, one is wrong. Me, if I'm in love with you, I don't care who knows. Okay? Other people might be a little shy. They don't want the scrutiny of public opinion. This and that. Maybe they're on a higher level and the person they're dating is on a lower level.
Mm.
And if they sit up there and told everybody about this person, even though they love that person because they get along so great, other people might be hating on it. And a
Mm.
lot of times when people start getting in your ear, that alone breaks up the relationship.
Yep. That's true. That's true. Wow, I never thought about it that way. Me, I've always been a type of person that, listen, you love me, you got to show everybody you love me. We ain't got to be in the limelight all the time because some couples, just be doing too much. They always posting on social media and then behind the scenes is something else going on. But because you have them kind that just be in the scenes and act like everything is good and then behind the scenes everything's bad. But if you love me, everybody should know you love me. So I'm on the fence with that one. But all right, so this is your time to shine. I'm gonna do the countdown, and you're gonna be on the stage by yourself. This is your moment to tell everybody how to follow your journey. You know what's coming up in 2025 that you want to share now, that you want to share, and all that good stuff. We already said a whole lot of good stuff, so you can tell them a little bit more after the countdown. All right, it's on you.
Oh, okay. 2025. I got a lot of things happening. Um, the Love Commandment should be dropping next week. Um, I got another one. Don't regret what you accept. That's going to be a big one because a lot of people accept things that you know they the ones who sit up. They mad about it, but they're the ones who accepted it. So I'm telling them all these things that they accepted in the book. Now you whining about it. You know, you can't really do that. That doesn't work. But I got that book coming out, and there's one more, which is a basically a question and answer book that gets you to know who you are. That's going to be a big one too. Um, if you want to follow me, all that information will be, in my social media eventually. I'm at Just Dash Dre across the board. Facebook, Instagram, my email, Just Ask Dre at gmail.com. You know, Google, Just Ask Dre. you know, that's it. You know,
He said, "That's it." Well, thank you so much for coming to be a guest and drop some of your gems. I wish you the best of luck on your journey, and we're locked in forever. I always tell about if you need anything from me on my end, maybe you want me to share something or however, we locked in. Just drop it in my inbox,
there you go.
and
There
let's
you
win
go.
together. Let's win together. There's only one way to do it. It's together.
That's right. You definitely right about that. You
So
got to sit up
thank
there and lift each other up. I don't sit up there and a lot of people, especially black people, they don't understand that
they don't.
other people are working together. We're not. And it's the same thing as being like, let's say, for instance, you're on a basketball team. If you're one man going up against five, you're going to lose every time.
Every time.
Every time.
Every
And this
time.
is why we're so far behind because everybody else works together. You got Chinese people that they live in like 10 in a house, people sleeping on floors and stuff like that. Next thing you know, this one got a house. That one got a house. This one got a fruit stand. This one got a 7-Eleven.
Okay, they got to pay attention and stay woke.
Yeah,
But we we
yeah,
we're too good for that. We're too good for that. We don't want to do that. We want
right.
our own stuff with our own names on it. That's the problem. Crabs in a barrel.
Yeah.
Crabs in
So
a
for me, I'd rather sit up there and uplift you, even if you surpass me. Why? Because if you're up there and I'm down here, guess who can help me up?
lift me up.
There you go. You see? You can't lift me up if you're not up there.
Exactly. They're gonna get it one day. They're gonna get it one day.
Mhm.
But thank you again for coming to be a guest. We're locked in, and I wish you the best on this journey as the love mechanic. And I'm looking forward to those books. And thank you so much to everybody else out there that's tuning into this amazing episode. Listen, y'all, he just told y'all a handful about love. He said that even after infidelity, your relationship can be repaired. So y'all tap in with him. Tap in with Just Ask Dre. Make sure y'all get y'all questions in and find out just how good he is. Listen, let him turn your life around. But thank y'all so much for tuning in to another powerful episode of Breaking the Silence. I hope today's conversation has inspired you to speak your truth, own your voice, and keep pushing forward. Remember, your story matters, your voice has power, and the world is waiting for who? You. So we can hear it. So until next time, keep breaking the silence and keep being a true voice. Later. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Breaking the Silence. I really appreciate your support on this journey. If this episode has hit home for you, share it with your family member, your friend, your cousin, your auntie, and tell them to come over here and like, subscribe, and share. So, check out this review from one of my past guests. Thanks again for being the best part of Breaking the Silence. Later.
I'm talking to you. You. Listen to what I'm about to say. I had an experience on Breaking the Silence podcast, and I'm telling you, it was a great experience. Okay? I'm not going to lie. I was nervous, even though I have my own podcast, but being on somebody else's podcast always makes me a little nervous. But Author Nikki Nicole made sure I was comfortable. The questions were good. The questions were intriguing and thought-provoking. I'm letting you guys know right now, if you're looking for some traction and you're looking for a good person or a good platform to use to get to the plateau you need to get to, go to Breaking the Silence with Author Nikki Nicole and tell them Meek sent you.